You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Folks, on Ahmaud Arbery's birthday, thousands around the country joined with hashtag Run With Maud movement and documented their 2.23-mile runs using the hashtag. Well, a former pastor in Vero Beach, Florida, ran more than 2 miles while clutching a flat-screen TV to prove that the color of his skin was enough to protect him from the fatal treatment that Ahmaud received. Watch this.
Hey guys, going on a nice leisurely jog here in the South, in a suburb, carrying a TV, and perfectly safe. Wonder why that is. I run with Ahmaud. All right, I figured it out. I've got my hat on backwards. I'm shirtless, like I'm on some episode of Cops. I'm running with the TV. Someone's gonna stop me now for sure. Because if not, what was the problem with Ahmaud? Hey, Mom. When I told you I was gonna run through a neighborhood carrying a TV, did you worry for my safety?
No.
Did you think someone would call the police?
No, of course not.
Huh. I wonder why that is.
Joining us now is that former pastor, Richard Demsick. Richard, welcome to Roland Martin Unfiltered.
It's absolutely my pleasure to be here. Well, not to be funny, but it's my privilege.
That was that video that you did that's gone viral. A lot of people have been talking about it. And you said that here you are running down the street with a TV, and people just waving at you. How you doing? Like literally gave no thought. Why is this dude running down the street with a TV on his shoulder?
None whatsoever, and I knew that people weren't going to react. I knew the police weren't going to be called. I could have made good money betting with some people on that one, I guess. But the reality is I've even walked into half-built houses, been caught one time by the owner, and he ended up showing me around after we talked for a little bit, told me to come back in a week and see how his progress had gone.
That's crazy. And see, what's interesting about this is so many people, since the story became national, Arbery's story, people have been saying, black people, white people saying, I always do this. Now, look, the house I had constructed, I didn't walk in the damn house but one time because I'm like, I don't see what the heck is going on. I'll come back when the walls are up and it's all done. But that's a thing. But all of a sudden, what you're proving in your video is that when you change the color of the person's skin, it changes people's whole view of that situation.
And Roland, let me be clear about this. I was the kind of person that when I first heard the concept white privilege, I didn't think it existed and argued against it because when I thought of privilege, I thought of sipping champagne on a yacht.
There you go.
And just living in luxury. What I didn't understand is the basic human decency that people of color don't experience.
Well, you know what? What you just said is what I have long said, that the problem with the phrase white privilege is that, yeah, most people hear white privilege and they think an aristocrat, they think a WASP, they think somebody who is rich, not realizing that you can be the brokest white person in the world, but you get white privilege just because you're white.
One of the things that has really come out this, because I've been invited to all these amazing conversations and I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm figuring things out for the first time, is that a lot of people of color, they don't know how little we know as the white community. We hear about this every once in a while.
Yeah, we do.
Some do. Yeah, some do. But a lot of us are ignorant. We just don't know how bad the problem is.
Well, actually, in Dr. King's book, Chaos or Community, Where Do We Go From Here, he talked about it. He said, white people literally have no idea about their own lack of understanding about Americans' racial history. And they live in sheer denial. And so when things happen, they go, oh, my God. I mean, I'll give a perfect example. When 2012, I was in Columbia, South Carolina. Eric Erickson, big-time conservative, far right, then working for redstate.com. We were standing outside the hotel. We had gotten to the hotel. I rode with him from Charleston to Columbia. CNN says, hey, we need y'all to get to the venue earlier than we thought. We quickly get dressed. We go downstairs, and we're waiting outside for the car. This Asian woman gets out of her car. We're both standing. We suited and booted. Now, I've got tie on, pocket square. I'm dressed way better than Eric, okay? But she literally walks up to me and sticks out her keys. And Eric goes, wow. Wow. I look at her, I'm like, I don't park damn cars. And Eric said, what you just said, Eric said, Roland, all these years, I have heard black people describe this very situation, and I felt that they were just, you know, not making it up, but just embellishing, and it wasn't that big of a deal. He said, this is the first time I saw with my own eyes what black people experience, and he was just blown away. He went on his radio show that following Monday and talked about it, and he said, I had never experienced it, and that's part of the deal. I think what these videos have done, these videos have shown white people, and it's like, damn, these black people were not joking. This stuff actually happens.
Just like the Vietnam War, when all of a sudden people saw the videos of the horrors of war, it kind of woke them up to it and said, this isn't okay. I think that the videos of Ahmaud, I mean, that's what happened to me. It was a compound effect. There were so many videos that led up to this, but when I saw Ahmaud's, I still sometimes close my eyes and I see him dying, and it's what compels me to say, okay, this is a human problem. We need to speak up, and the people in my community need to speak up. And I applaud Sean King for giving me very simple instructions, because that's the thing. I am a millennial. I do as little as possible typically. He made it really easy for me to know what to do. He told me exactly what to do. I just carried a TV while doing it.
Well, I think that I want to bring in my panel right here, Rob, Chris, and Brittany. I'm sure they have some questions for you. Brittany, I want to start with you.
Sure. I applaud you for what you've done. Thank you so much for bringing attention to this. I thought you brought up a really excellent point about saying, you know, white folks in this country are really ignorant. What I think is interesting, and this is me coming from the educational perspective, do you feel as though race and racial history in the country is something that you learned when you were growing up through the secondary school system and perhaps even in college?
I mean, I think I heard the Cliff Notes versions of it, and I independently studied a lot on Martin Luther King Jr., but I've probably learned more about the history of race in the last week than I have in my entire schooling.
Chris, your question for Richard Demsick.
Yeah, Richard, first of all, I want to say I think it's phenomenal what you did, and I think it's truly inspiring, and I hope others can do the same. But I really want to understand all your faith, and I think it's phenomenal. And so, what was your real inspiration? I know you talked to Sean King, but what was your inspiration and the impact that you really wanted to make? What inspired you to do so, and what kind of impact did you really expect to make when you first thought of this?
I was really hoping that I would get 1,000 views. So you got to understand this. Like, this is totally unexpected, and it's opened my eyes to just the need for people, or maybe the lack of support of people in my community speaking up against this issue. There's a lot of us that do care. So now I'm kind of going, okay, now that this reaction has taken place and I'm learning all about the problem, my eyes are opening, you know, what's next. Right. And because the forethought wasn't much, it was just something needs to be done. It was a compound effect. And yeah, my hero and inspiration is, of course, Jesus Christ, which a lot of people think of as a shockingly bleached skin, fine robe wearing religious man, but he actually was a revolutionary who created the first society that all people of all walks of life called each other brothers and sisters. And so I hope to follow in his footsteps as best I can and try to figure out how to create bridges for unity in these very complex cultural problems that we've had for hundreds of years. My part is probably going to be small in that, but I want to do whatever I can.
Rob?
First of all, I also want to share in applauding for what you've done. And Chris kind of asked my question, but I have a follow-up to that. So it sounds like, if I'm correct, you were inspired and really changed your perspective seeing the injustice of what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. if that's the case, how do you think we have to take? I want you to take yourself back to the mindset you have, and I think the reaction to when you hear something like white privilege. I think it's you described it best. Somebody is rich or something like that. But there's also this. I do think this automatic reaction because people are like, well, that's just a way of trying to blame me for something. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not a racist. I didn't kill Ahmaud Arbery. How do we? Because I think we as Black people could talk about it forever, and we have to live it. We have to go through it. We have no choice. How do you think we can reach more people in your congregation and others who might have the same initial reaction to say, like, well, I didn't kill Ahmaud Arbery, so why should I be concerned about that?
Well, I think one of the things that happened with me that has really helped me become not only a one-time TikTok video guy, but somebody who wants to take up this mantle is by the reception that I've gotten, that it was so welcomed, and I've been invited into conversations like this, and I just absolutely am floored and amazed and honored to be part of these conversations. So that's part of it. But what I'll say is, to speak on one of the things you kind of reference is, I'm not a racist, right? I'm not a racist. So the moment you call someone a racist, they're immediately always trying to think of the reason why they're not a racist. And they'll always find something. But no matter how racist the person is, they'll pretty much always find a reason. I've got a Black friend. We've all heard that kind of stuff. And instead, what I'm trying to do is when I talk to my white friends about the prejudice, the prejudgments that they're making in their lives and their hearts that are actually negatively affecting other people. Because while you might not consider yourself a racist, and I'm talking to my white community here, but when you might not consider yourself a racist, you probably have prejudgments that might be negatively affecting people. And so, I don't know, that's at least one of the ways I think we can turn the conversation to a way that is people are a little bit more receptive to have white awareness.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something going on. This is what I've said to my white friends. Maybe there's something going on in the community of inner city and people of color that you're not aware of. Is that possible, that there's some things that you're not aware of? And you should go, well, yeah, probably. Okay, maybe we should listen. That's what I've been saying.
And I would also say one final thing, if we can, on this. It's, as we go to churches, I'm also a Christian too, and I think we have to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations. And it's not comfortable to talk about race. The truth is, I think there are some people that are well-meaning, but just don't want to have the conversation because it's too difficult. So, right. But that leads to indifference. And as Dr. King said, indifference is the biggest threat to injustice. It's not the people that are, it's obviously tragic what happened to Ahmaud Arbery, but the point is the conditions and the environment and the microaggressions that created the condition where that could happen, the system where you don't even have a charge. This was on tape. This was known. And the fact that this could go on tells you that this goes on a lot more often and people accept it because of indifference. So I think we have to put ourselves in these uncomfortable situations as Christians. So I admire what you're doing. I say keep putting yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Well, and I think what it requires, I think it requires white people like Richard to go talk to white people.
Absolutely.
I think because the reality is, Richard, and look, the reality is there are things that you have heard in conversations your whole life that no Black people were present. And what it requires is somebody white at that moment saying, hold up, what do you mean by that? Explain that. Why is that your view? What you got? And that's the piece. That's the thing that it requires. You need white people in white places, in white spaces, challenging other white people on exactly what you talked about.
There was this moment that I listened to an audio tape about Breonna Taylor, and it was sent to me only because I'm now part of this community and been open and welcomed into these conversations. So I wouldn't have known about this. Like I wouldn't have, Breonna Taylor, I probably would have never heard her name. And there was this moment when I was listening to this very emotional tape and thinking, this isn't comfortable. I'd rather not look at this. And then I thought, I actually could not look at this. And my follow-up thought was, what a shame that would be if I decided to choose to take a blind eye to hurt and injustice that was happening throughout this country just because I could. That's the thing that we need to fight with the white community for, and my community, that I need to fight. I'll say that, because that's my part that I can hopefully play, is to say, I know we could put a blind eye to this, but that's not what we meant by color blindness, is that we're blind to injustice. That's not what we want. We want white awareness.
Richard, you make a great point. Sir, we appreciate it. Thank you so very much for doing that video. And hopefully there are people who are going to be paying attention and will be listening to what you have to say and having those very difficult but critically important conversations.
I thank the real warriors like you guys who are fighting this fight every day. I'm just grateful that I was able to make an impact, even a small one.
All right, then. Thanks a lot, sir.
God bless.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. This is the Ceek VR headset created by Mary Spiel, the sister. We had her on the show. Black woman. She actually is the inventor of this particular headset. And so what happens is you just simply place your phone right into here, and then of course close it up, and then go to their website and then their app, and you can actually experience the comedy showcase. And so they have these headsets, these VR headsets, on their site Ceek.com for sale. Then also they have these 4D 360-degree headphones. First of all, I love the two stuff because they're in black and old gold, my frat colors. But these are awesome because for gamers, it comes with detachable headset, and again, folks, it gives you 360-degree sound. Amazing sound. If you want to buy these, you have a promo code you can use. This is just for our followers, and it is RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Put that promo code in if you want to buy the headphones, buy the VR headset. You get that discount to buy it. They're amazing. So Ceek.com, RMVIP2020. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.